Okay, thank you for joining us. We have today Evelyn, and we have another interview of the top leaderboard member from Synthesizer. And I'm pretty excited because Evelyn is an amazing person. So, Evelyn, do you want to introduce yourself briefly for the people who are on Synthesizer and don't know you?
Sure. So my name is Evelyn. I am a relatively new synthesizer, been on it maybe for a month and a half. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and my project is to help women or anyone really with hormonal dysregulations recover their health, their energy, their fertility, their mood through lifestyle. And I don't know what else for my intro.
That's amazing. So you just prove that in no time you can reach the top because you're number four of the monthly leaderboard and you have 1,100 points and you want to help women to balance their hormone, which is an amazing topic and it's very underlooked. And I'm glad that people like you are doing it. So I want to know, what is your mindset when you're creating content and creating connection with people online?
Yeah. I actually, well, it's specifically in synthesizer. I don't think I have like it's weird because I don't think I'm like trying to craft content. I'm really just like sharing my experience. And if you read any of my posts, it's a little bit stream of consciousness sometimes. I try to make it readable, so it's not like all over the place, but it's really I'm just sharing what I've learned um in that particular moment.
I think this is just an amazing answer, just to say that you genuinely are sharing what you're learning. You're not trying to crack the code, you're not trying to do something special. You just put there what's on your mind, what's on your heart, and you want to help people that because you know that other people are going through the same path as you, and you are making mistakes and you are making like discoveries, and you just share them, and people just appreciate that.
Yeah, and part of it is like it's sharing what I've learned, but also sharing the things that I have questions about because I'm also looking for other people to give me insight. So my posts are not just me telling you because I'm relatively new at the business side of things. So yeah, I've learned something, but usually I learn something because I hit some kind of roadblock and I want to share that. Yes, because maybe other people can relate and maybe learn from what I did, but also a lot of people who are further ahead from me can be like, hey, I experienced that too, and this is how I solved it. So there's a win-win. It's not just me sharing, it's also looking for people to give me their insights, exchange of
Well,
value.
yeah, I think it's very beautiful because what you're saying is not about you trying to position in a place of leader, but
Mhm.
actually accepting your position of like, I know things, I have things I don't know, and I know that some people are behind me and they will benefit from that. And there are people in front of me that will give me answers. So you're just
Yeah,
wanting to be part of the community by being yourself and accepting, hey, that's who I am,
yeah,
and that's where I stand. What's up with you guys? And that's just
yeah.
natural.
I
You're
would
just
say
being
that.
a in a way we can say you're being authentic.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. Because I have seen other posts where they are trying to share value, but they don't seem as authentic, and they probably don't get as much engagement because it seems like a very top-down, like, here's how to do this, and it's like, okay, cool. I wasn't particularly looking for how to do that, but thanks.
So if you would give an advice to that person who just is scared to be authentic, because I believe that a lot of people are scared to be authentic, and what would be an advice for them?
I think it's just to understand that most of us don't know a lot of things, and nobody's really gonna judge you on the things that you don't know. Like so, and the sooner you are honest about what you don't know, the faster you will learn because you can have so many people jump in and try to tell you the things that you don't know. So if you want results, just be honest. I was always a person in class that like raised my hand like 20 times and asked all the questions. Even if it's a word that I didn't understand, I'm like, hey, can you to the professor, can you define that word? Like, what is it that like I think Jordan Peterson said something like, um, you only have to ask a stupid question once. And then you know the answer and you're not stupid anymore.
This is amazing. I love what you just said. It reminded me that quote that is the difference between a master and a student is that the
Yeah.
master knows that he will always be a student.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that the way you just say that we shouldn't be afraid of admitting that there are things we don't know. And I can totally relate to that because right now I'm living in Spain and so many times I'm like, what does this word mean? And I'm like, it's like
Yeah.
I cannot understand. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful when we accept, we have this humility when we are humble to say, hey, I don't know everything, but the more I accept what I don't know, the more I can grow and the more I can learn actually, and being in that position of learner and accepting that learning is actually empowering yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like learning is yeah, it's a state of being. You're never done learning.
Yeah.
Uh, Best advice. Actually, we had a back when I was in school, we had different clinics, and one of them was in a sort of elderly home. And there was a particular home where like the elders were very independent. And we had a group, and this 99-year-old, we asked him like, what would advice would you give to younger people? Best advice I'll never forget. He said, never let yourself get too old to learn new things.
This is beautiful.
It's like, yeah, that stuck with me.
It made me remind another quote, and you might relate to that as a parent, is that parents believe they're watching their kids grow, but they don't realize that their kids are watching them grow too.
True. Yeah.
And yeah, it really brings back to the idea that we are always going to be growing and always going to be learning.
Mhm.
Amazing. Tell me, Evelyn, what are the structures, what are the tips you can give to someone who is creating content?
For synthesizing specifically, like kind of
I would
to
say for
in a,
Fitness, but I mean, in general, if you take that mindset from Standardizer and you bring it to the world, you can only do good things.
well, in the case of if yeah, well, I'll split it because I think synthesizer is a very specific community, and I think if you want to sort of be part of the synthesizer community, I think what I did was I engaged in a specific challenge for myself and then just documented it because you learn so,
Mm.
like you're not really having a specific like objective of sharing a specific content, but if you document something that you're doing both with the highs and the lows and like everything that you're going through, that that gives so much value because a lot of the times we see the success stories and you see like I was here before and now I'm here and nobody really sees like what the middle looks like. So
Mm.
seeing someone go through like and be able to follow someone and seeing the actual that it's not like this is usually like this, right? That you go down and up and it gives people more of a realistic view of what it's like to grow and what it's like to learn new things. And it might encourage people to, when they have a low day, to be like, okay, this is normal. Doesn't mean I'm failing. It's just a low day. And I have to keep going for tomorrow. When it comes to it's actually an interesting question. I had not thought about how this would translate to content in other spaces when it comes to like, especially if you make like YouTube videos when you're more maybe teaching something. Because I just started YouTube, so I'm not really sure how exactly that would translate, but I'm actually going to think about that now, how that mindset and could translate in a more real, authentic way instead of a more preachy, here's what you should do way. Yeah, I don't know, something to think about.
I mean, like what you said is the reason that people show their here and then they show their here, and the gap in between is what they're selling. So if you want to know how they got from here to here, you have to buy their coaching program or whatever, or their course, or get on their masterclass video for 1 hour to just buy something else. And you just show that it's actually this is the best way to create content. It's just to document what you're doing. You have a challenge and you document it step by step. And well, when I'm hearing you, I think like clearly what you could do for your YouTube channel is take all of the posts that you made during that, I mean, or document the journey that you had with hormone balancing and just make that step by step where you might be just looking back in time and asking yourself, what did I do in the past? I mean, me personally, that's what I do with Instagram. I'm like thinking about me in the past and the problem I had. I'm like, what would I say to myself in the past? And sometimes I'm like, fuck, I should have met myself when I was in the past
Yeah,
because
right.
I could say exactly the right thing to, hey, Asha, I know you want to do this, but it's useless. You're gonna lose 3 years of your life just trying to achieve that goal because you want people to like you. But if you just love yourself first, you want, like, so I know that, like sometimes I'm like, like writing content, and I'm like, oh my God, these are the things I needed 5 years ago. Why did I not think about them?
Yeah.
And if you talk with the space of compassion, because when I'm looking on myself in the past, when I'm meditating and I'm thinking about myself 3 years ago, suffering from the things I'm not suffering, I'm looking at myself with this compassion. I'm like, I should have said that to myself at the time. So I think, yeah, documenting and just being honest on the thing. I really love what you say about observing the trends, not judging the daily activity. And that really is something that me, I've struggled a lot. And then when I read your post saying, hey, you know what? There are days nothing's gonna happen. So just follow trends. And it's crazy because I have a Google Sheet where I'm typing everything I do and I follow my own trends. But when it comes to content and to receiving DMs and to receiving comments, I'm like, it's been 3 days. I'm waiting for that person to send me a message, and I'm like, I'm here every day waiting for them. And then I read your thing like about trends. I'm like, that's true. Some people during the weekdays they just don't have the time, and me during the weekdays, the only thing I want to do is be there talking with people. So it is clear that observing what we're doing on long term is important. Tell me, Evelyn, when did the desire to create content spark into you?
When the desire to create content. Um, I I think originally before it was a synthesizer, it was more of a, okay, I have to do this to create traffic for
Mhm.
my business. But I think once I got on synthesizer, and sort of went through a little bit of the roadmap, but also saw how how people were interacting in the community. Um, I think I saw someone, I think it was Olga. She had done the same challenge that I did, the networking challenge, and I saw her documenting it, and I was like, okay, this is what I need to do because I need. I found the posting in the community is also a form of accountability to actually do it. Like when you say something out loud to someone, it's more real. So so that's what you do. You know, the first post is like, hey, I'm committing to doing this for 30 days. It's like even if nobody reads it, like the point wasn't really for people to read it and comment. The point was for me to be accountable to myself and using the community to do that. And then of course, you know, there's other value that comes from that. But I think the main reason was accountability for myself more than anything else in that space.
Amazing. I love that by creating content, which is bringing value to the community, you also brought like value to yourself by saying, hey, am holding myself accountable by reporting what I'm doing to people. And I'm
Mhm.
helping others, but also I'm helping myself by having them look at me without putting the pressure of like someone is saying, hey, you have to do it, like it's just out
Yeah,
of your own pleasure. If someone is like hesitating to start a challenge, what would you say to them?
just do it. Uh, I get, yeah, just do it. Like really, there's like stop thinking. Like that's the problem.
Yeah,
You're thinking too
yeah,
much.
yeah,
Stop
yeah.
thinking and just
Mm.
do it. You're gonna be bad at it in the
Yeah,
beginning. It
yeah.
until you do it, you're gonna be bad at it, and that's something you gotta accept.
This is amazing. Yeah,
You're not gonna
I
be good
totally,
until you're bad.
totally agree. We all have to suck for the first times, and then at one point we just get used to suck, and at another point we're just like, oh, I'm just
Yeah,
getting better than anyone, so I
yeah,
can I can
I
do
know.
something about it.
Like I'm actually, sometimes like I I don't know, maybe it's just my personality. Like the beginning is the best part because you get to be bad at it and it's normal. The problem is if you do it for a long time and you're still bad at it, that's when you gotta feel like, okay, that's a
There's
problem.
something wrong. Yeah,
But
yeah.
like it's like the whole point of being a beginner. It's like you could be bad and not feel bad about it.
I know this is the most amazing mindset because most people they're scared of starting because they don't want to look ridicule. They don't want to have that moment of like, oh, I don't know how to do it. And you reverse. You're like, it's the only moment I can I
Yeah, you
can
can be
have
ridiculous in
excuses
the
for being
beginning. Yeah.
shitty.
Exactly. You know what? Like go like if you're anyone that wants to do this who's not a physical person, go take a gymnastics class. Get over
Yeah,
that fear. Because like, you're not never gonna look more ridiculous on your first day of gymnastics. So do that and then come back and do this challenge.
amazing. Okay, Evelyn, what is your mindset when you want to foster connection and create contact with people?
My mindset when I want to create connection. I think I'm usually like curious about what they do when I'm the one to initiate when it comes to like the synthesizer, because a lot of it's not really the place where I'm trying to get clients. Uh, when I'm trying to connect with people, it's more like something sparks my curiosity about what they do, and I'm just want to learn more about that. Sometimes it's just curiosity, sometimes it's I see a potential mutual benefit. I'm like, hey, you do something that I'm not good at that might benefit we might benefit each other because I can do something that maybe you're not good at, but we're in the same area. So there's a mutual benefit side. There's a this is really interesting. I want to learn more side. Um, and then when it comes to connecting with clients, I is usually someone that I feel like I resonate with their story because it's similar to my story, and I think I can help them.
Mm.
Um, so there's I guess those three titles.
Yeah, there's a desire of like helping always that is behind connection for you. Like you see people that have something that you don't know how to do, but you have something they don't know how to do. And
Yeah,
for clients, like you can totally recognize yourself into them, like, oh, I used to suffer like you, I can totally help you.
yeah.
So helping people seems like to be like at the core of your desire to connect with people.
I think one of the yeah, I think it's one of the areas. I think curiosity like I've since being in synthesizer, it's expanded to just also like um being curious and sort of because I something that's interesting is how just a lot of different areas of life you can almost boil it down to similar mindset and skills, and it's interesting to see how these are applied. So in my previous life before I became a naturopathic doctor, I was a lighting designer, completely different New York, working in events, but a lot of the knowledge that I gained there actually weirdly applied to when I was learning biochemistry. Like just it's hard to explain, but like a lot of the logistics that I learned in lighting design when I was learning biochemistry, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of like similar. The system works in a really similar way. It's just completely different situation. And it's super, and I've been finding more and more interesting how people from different that do a lot of different things in the end, you can come boiling down to like very similar systems. And it's always been sort of interesting to speak to people and see how they got to where they got. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
No, I do understand. You know, like we operate through pathways that seems logic for us, you know, with like this and then that. And when we're looking, you know, like the world is a fractal and everything is really reflecting itself.
yeah,
And like, you know, like very simple, crazy stuff. I saw ants creating highways. Like literally, they were like cutting herbs and removing things from the path to create highways.
yeah,
And I looked at the ants and I was like, wow, they're exactly doing like us. These little things understood that if they remove all the dirt that they don't like from the path where the food is and where their nest is, they can go faster. And I was like,
mm,
we do exactly the same. So even like these insects have the same kind
yeah,
of
exactly,
intelligence
yeah,
as us. You know, we build highways for cars and trucks, but they build it for themselves. And I'm like, oh my God, we're not so different. And when you look at things, you know, like we have languages. Like mathematics is a language for
yeah,
explaining how the world exists. And there's a guy super impressive what he does. He does equations and then he passes them into a computer and the computer makes an image, like a image that is as real as we can see each other like this. But he did get the guy, he sees math. And that math for him is an image, like in the movie Matrix, they see these
yeah,
numbers. And so, you know, like me, when I see the equation, I'm still like, wow, I just see things I don't understand. When I see an image, I'm like, I can paint this because I know how to paint, you know. So we all have a language. And I think our senses and the way our brain is wired allows us to understand this language. So I do believe that the language that you have from the light has been transferred to that language of like biology. So what's a gold nugget that you can give right now to all synthesizers and all people who want to actually blow up on Skool?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like because I think one of the reasons I ended up having so high up in the charts is because like I got a post pinned, and if you get a post pinned, you're gonna get a lot of comments and a lot of likes. So I guess just give value because like I was not expecting my post to get pinned like because it was a wrap up after I finished the 30-day challenge. I made like a wrap up post saying like this is all the things I learned from this challenge, and that got pinned. So I don't go seeking being pinned. That's it will not happen if you do that. Just just do something that is worth sharing and share it.
This is the most beautiful answer that you just say. Do something that's worth sharing and just share it. And I totally relate to you. I got pinned today in another group, and I was like, oh my God. I was just generally sharing things that I
Yeah.
love, and I was not expecting that post
Yeah.
to just get pinned. And it made me realize that no, I'm getting some sort of like authority in that group because I'm being pinned for talking about that subject, which is like dopamine regulation. And I was like, oh my God. So I can show my value and it's being recognized. So it's really about sharing value and to the point that people believe in what you're sharing because you actually recognize the effort that you've putting into something and you know that this can help people. You know what I understood is that the change I made in my life, I felt it is so important. I wanted to share it with people. And
Hmm.
that's how we bring
Yeah.
value is that when we give information that truly helps to change people's lives.
Yeah. And you don't have to be the expert to do something that's valuable. That's
Yeah.
other things. Like it's like the beginner journey because mine was a beginner journey that I shared. It wasn't a hey, I've done this for 30 years. Like, here you go.
Yeah, no, clearly you can be the guy who's picking up the balls at the tennis match and not even playing, but know things about tennis that the players don't even realize. You're totally
Yeah.
right. Okay, Evelyn, do you have a last words for people watching?
Um, Pick a challenge and do it
You can
once you're
challenge
done
and do it.
finishing
Amazing. I love
post the
that.
video.
Thank you, Evelyn, for coming here. Guys, if you want to be interviewed, just bring a lot of value, get on the top of the leaderboard, and I'll reach out to you and I'll interview you so we all know what you did. Thank you again, Evelyn. Thank everybody
Thank
for
you.
watching.